All right, we're going to talk a little bit about a technique that we call clearing fractions, where when I have an equation like this one, right, and I've got a bunch of fractions to add, sometimes it's nice to multiply everything by a given number, by a value, so that all the fractions go away. And the way we think about it is, what would be the common denominator if we were going to add these together, right? And the common denominator, one technique for finding that is this one, where I look at this and I say, well, what are the common factors? 2. And then if I divide those by that, I get 3 and 4. Those don't have any more common factors. So if I multiply these all together, I get the value 2 times 3 times 4, which equals 24. And this is the least common multiple. So if I multiply everything on both sides of these equations by 24, then I'm going to get 2 times 24 minus 24 times 5, 6x equals 24 times 3/8. Now this first one, 2 times 24, that's pretty easy. That's 48. As I look at this, I see that there is a common factor of 6, and that if I reduce that out, then I know that this is 6 times 4, so those equal 1, and I'm left with minus 20x. And then 8 goes into this 3 times, so I can reduce that, and I get 9. So these are equivalent fractions, or equivalent equations. Okay. Let's look at another one real quick. So I have this 3/4 x minus 2 equals 2/5. So my least common multiple between these two, because they don't have any common factors, is going to be, my least common multiple is 20. So if I multiply everything on both sides by 20, right, I'm going to get 20 times 3/4 x minus 2 times 20 equals 2/5 times 20. Okay. And then once again, I can, if it's easier for you, you can do 20 times 3 is 60, and then divided by 4 is 15x minus 40 equals, the 5's come out and I'm left with a 4 equals 8. And so this would be the equivalent fraction, and that's all it's asking you to do. But I think we'd all agree that I'd much rather solve this equation than this equation. So now let's kind of take this all the way through a solving step. So as I look at these, right, none of these have common factors. 5, 4, and 3 have no common factors. So my least common multiple is just going to be them all multiplied together. 5 times 4 times 3, which equals 60. So I'm going to multiply everything on both sides by 60. Now, as I move along here, I can recognize that, oh, so I'm going to have I'm going to have a factor that can be reduced out that is 12. Okay. So in this case, if I reduce that, right, that's 5 times 12, and so I'm left with a 12. So this ends up being negative 12 equals, if I reduce a 4 out, right, this is 4 times 15, right? So then I'm going to get 15x, and then this one is 20, so it's going to be minus 20. Now at this point, I can add 20 to both sides, and I'm going to get 8 equals 15x, and then I'm going to divide by 15, and I'm going to get 8/15 equals x. Wonderful numbers, wonderful numbers. Let's look at one of the bigger ones here. All right, so just did this problem, and I made the classic mistake where I forgot to distribute to both parts, so we're going to do this one again. My least common multiple between 7 and 12 is going to be 14. So I'm going to multiply everything on both sides by 14. So I'm going to get 14 times 23 equals 14 times this one plus 14 times u plus 8 over 2. So I've just multiplied each of these things by that. Now as I look through here, this ends up being 322, which you're welcome to use a calculator to figure that piece out. Then as I look at this, I think, what is my common factor? And I know that up and down, and I know that 14 is 2 times 7, so this is going to reduce. And then I'm going to end up with 2 times 9u plus 8. This one, 7 times 2 is 14, so the 2's are going to reduce, and I'm going to end up with 7 times u plus 8. Now I'm ready to distribute. Boom, 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 boom. So 322 equals 18u plus 16, 7u plus 56. I do my all my combining, so I have my u's, and this ends up 18u plus 7u is 25u. 16 plus 56 is 72. So now I need to move this, get this 72 taken care of, so I'm going to do the opposite function and minus 72 from both sides. And then I'm going to get 250 equals 25u. Divide by 25. And I'm going to get 10 equals u. Alright, I'm going to do one more of these problems. And then I also messed up because I forgot to distribute. And I'm going to get x minus 6 over 4. Alright. So in this case, my least common multiple is 4. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4. And that's going to give me and don't forget to do every single term, each chunk by 4. So as I look at this, I got a 4 up and down, so then I'm just going to get x minus 6. I've got a 2, so I get 2 times 9x plus 1 equals 72. Now I'm going to distribute in, and I'm going to get x minus 6 plus 18x plus 2 equals 72. Now I'm going to do all my combinations, and I'm going to get 19x minus 4 equals 72. 19x equals 76. Divide everything by 19, and I get x equals 4. So like I said, the tricky things with these problems are remembering to multiply every single part of the equation by 4, or by the least common multiple, and to remember to distribute into both parts. And it really helps to put those parentheses in there. Anyway, I hope this is helpful.